Time now for Financial Focus, and I'm here joined with Steve Budin from the Budin Group. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
And today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people overlook, and that is ownership. Many of us have a lot of accounts, investments, property, and what should we do when it comes to reassessing where these things go to once we're gone? I know a lot of us aren't thinking about that, but it's something that we definitely always should be thinking about.
Yeah, this is a very often overlooked issue, and I had it happen to a client this week. Very often we'll just open up a bank account, an investment account, we'll buy a piece of property, and we will own it a certain way, individually or jointly, meaning that let's say you and I would own a piece of property. But what's sometimes ignored is what happens if something should happen to me, how my assets get passed on. How that ownership is titled can govern really anything and everything about how things transfer.
So what do you mean by that? How it's governed? And what about a will? Will a will not suffice for this situation?
Right. So a will is a legal document that dictates what happens to your assets when you pass away. But what happens if you stay alive? The will doesn't govern. So, for example, I see this a lot in this day and age. A lot of people have multiple siblings. They may have multiple children with various partners. They may be married for the second or third time. Sometimes they forget to retitle assets. I've seen cases where somebody has an old bank account or an old investment account with an ex-wife still on it. Well, if something happens to that person, that ex-wife would get those accounts. It doesn't matter what the will says. So it's very important that when you open up an account or buy a piece of property, you make sure it's titled right. There's a couple of reasons. The two main ones really is, again, how would it transfer should something happen to you? And secondly, what are the tax consequences should something happen to you? I say this all the time. It's important to sit with a professional and get some advice on how to own things, but it's not just black and white. It's a little bit more complicated than sometimes we'd like to think.
So what are all the things that we should look out for aside from bank accounts, titles? Just give us a list of some things that we might not be thinking about that we need to reassess.
Yeah, a quick checklist would be anything that has a legal title to it. So it could be a bank account, it could be an investment account, it could be a house, an individual retirement account, a 401k account, life insurance, anything that has your name on it legally. That's a great place to start.
Anything where your money is involved, basically. Steve Budin, thank you for joining us for Financial Focus.